Selling digital marketing to actual businesses who can afford your services is a really hard thing to do. And so many people are out there teaching you how to sell a software or something gimmicky that actually doesn't work. And very few people are teaching you how to actually sell digital marketing services to legit businesses like roofers, chiropractors, and auto glass companies. Well, look no further, because I'm gonna give you A to Z, an entire blueprint on how not just to generate a lead, but to turn that lead into a warm prospect by telling you exactly what you need to say, and ultimately how to close the deal and make money. My name is Adam McChesney, and in this video, I'm gonna go through my entire sales system. The sales system that I've used to generate millions and millions of dollars of revenue for my own digital marketing agency over the last 6 years by working with over 500 companies. I'm so excited that you're here watching this video. Now let's go make some money.
So the first aspect of what we're going to talk about here today is how you internally use your CRM to grow your digital marketing agency. Of course, we are using Go High Level. Here is our setup right here, which we will continually go back to. But the importance of a CRM and actually utilizing it cannot be understated. I, for the first couple of years in running an agency, flew by the seat of my pants, had no active CRM that I was utilizing from an internal standpoint of tracking leads, moving leads from warm to hot to closed, and understanding my numbers. So you need to be utilizing your CRM, ideally GHL, on a daily basis. The first thing that I recommend you do is with outreach. We'll talk about some ways to get clients in future videos. I would recommend putting a minimum of 5 new entries or new leads in every single day, Monday through Friday, right? Now, a big goal would be, how can I get this to 20 new CRM entries every single day? That's 100 new people into your CRM every single week. That is a complete game-changing opportunity for your agency when you're able to do that. I also recommend that you enter every single activity and do it in the same day, so that way it's fresh in your mind. Does that make sense? So if I'm going over here to my CRM right now, I'm going in here, you'll see some of this stuff blurred out, but you'll see that I have notes on how the conversation went. So X, Y, and Z person reached out about X, Y, and Z service after seeing me do X, Y, and Z, sent the audit video, discovery call booked, all of the different notes that are in there. It's important because, especially as you grow your agency, you want to be able to go back and remember every single piece of every single conversation. But also when you have other team members that are helping you throughout the process, it's important for them to be able to go back and see this as well. Then I recommend having one pipeline for sales. You can have different pipelines for newsletters and all the other things, right? But it's important to have just one pipeline for sales, so that way you're not confused and all over the place. I recommend different stages in the pipeline. So again, if we're going back here, we have one pipeline dedicated to digital marketing. We have the different aspects of the stages: interaction started, discovery call, follow-up, proposal, closed won, and lost. So that's super, super important. And you also want to make sure that you create follow-up tasks. So if I need to follow up with this individual person, I come in here, I create a task that then sends a reminder to me on the day in which I need to follow up for X, Y, and Z. And you can implement a variety of different automations from when one person goes from one stage to the next. Once the deal is closed, that way an onboarding email gets sent out with all the pertinent information. Super, super valuable. And I would also assign a lead value, so then that way you can take a look at your pipeline and understand what is possibly coming from each individual stage based on where people are at. So as we tie this loop here, I cannot tell you that so many agencies, myself included, have failed at doing this piece of the business. It doesn't matter how many leads you generate. In fact, if you're just getting started, this is a place to really build incredible habits on before you really start to grow and scale. Now, let's move on. The next step in this process that we are going to talk about is the audit. I also reference this as the digital audit. This is a 4 to 5 minute Loom video that I'm putting together for an interested prospect that I can kind of showcase a couple of different things. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a look at their existing website. I'm also doing an SEO analysis. So we'll talk about different packages and things like that, but like the primary package that I love to sell in some way, shape, or form is a new website with search engine optimization, with some paid ads potentially, tying it all together with GHL so that way we maximize their entire online presence. So I will go ahead and take a look at their existing online website. I'll show you in a future video everything I'm taking a look at. I'm taking a look at their existing SEO analysis with a third-party tool like Search Atlas. If you don't have a third-party tool, take a look at the description of this video. There's a free trial of Search Atlas. It's an incredible tool. It's the one we've been utilizing. We also use a Google Business heat map. Incredible tool to be able to see when somebody is searching for X, Y, and Z service, where your prospect is currently ranking. And so it'll show you from a variety of different color factors, ranking really, really well with green, yellow, and orange, okay, but not great, and then red, basically irrelevant. I also do a main keyword. So if I was talking to a roofing company, St. Louis, I'll take a look at the first page of Google, show them who their competitors are, start to analyze those websites, what they're doing from an SEO standpoint, etc. I'll tie in with an industry specific case study, show them, hey, here's some other contractors, here's some other roofers, for example, that we've been currently working with, and then highlight different features of services, i.e. GHL, missed call text back, a lot of the stuff that we talked about in the previous videos, review automations, workflows, chat widget, etc. So that way they get super, super excited as we go and get that discovery call booked, which is what we'll talk about here next. So in this step, it's really where we go from digital audit to discovery call. That digital audit is really meant to sell the expertise that you showed in that 4 to 5 minute Loom video, that you are a subject matter expert, that you're confident that you can help this individual, and that you know exactly what needs to be done in order to get them the results that are likely lacking right now. So I schedule that discovery call after or in the process of doing that audit video. And on that discovery call, it should be 15 to 20 minutes. And you're setting the expectations from the beginning that you're not necessarily going to talk about pricing or anything in terms of packaging. You just want to make sure that the opportunity is qualified. And this is on both ends, meaning that you actually can help them after asking a series of questions, that you want to work with them, and that they also want to work with you. Because just because you want to work with them does not mean they want to work with you. And just because they want to work with you does not mean it's an ideal client for you. And you'll figure out who that is as you continue to do more and more of this. But I would be asking a series of questions that you will eventually use for that next strategy deck call in preparing the strategy deck. Obviously, ask them if they have any questions. You should be going through the entire process saying, hey, do you have any questions? Does this make sense? Anything that you need to better understand our process or what we're talking about or X, Y, and Z. So that way they're confident going into that next call. And then I would be scheduling a strategy deck and proposal call for a few days later, depending upon how quickly you're able to turn this around, asking for 30 to 45 minutes of their time. And also ensuring, this is very key, ensuring that all decision makers will be present on that call. This is something that I struggled with for a very long time. I would get so excited about the discovery call. I would schedule the strategy deck and proposal call, get on the call, completely wow them, feel like I knocked it out of the park, and they say, I need to ask my husband or my wife. I need to ask my business partner. I need to bring in my admin, salesperson. I need to talk to my dog, right? You just want to make sure that you set the expectations that we're having this strategy deck and proposal call for 30 to 45 minutes, and everybody needs to be present that has a say in making a decision. So this is a key aspect that most people forget about. So let's dive in and move on to the strategy deck portion. So in this step, we're going to talk about the work that needs to get done on your end to prepare for that proposal call. So between that discovery call and the strategy deck and proposal call, you are putting together said strategy deck. This is going to be an expansion of a lot of the stuff that we talked about in that digital audit, where you're going to do even more research on their existing online presence, the industry as a whole. You will do a deeper competitor analysis. You're going to highlight 3 key pain points from that discovery call, and you're going to put that at the forefront. So we're going to do a video here in the future where we go through an entire strategy deck, how we present it, how we put it together, how we pitch it. But you need to make sure that it's not just this cookie cutter thing. So by putting those 3 pain points at the front, you are going to be considered differently than a lot of other marketers that they've probably talked to, because it shows that you listened on that first call, you heard their pain points, and you are now tying your solutions to their pain points. So, hey, I've worked with a ton of marketers that have just taken my money and ran. I have no idea what my return on investment is. I get terrible customer experience when I end up working with marketing, whatever the issues are, right? And then you're going to package your services together. I typically recommend 3 different options: good, better, and best. And we'll talk about later how to actually sell those things. But I would also showcase your team, anybody that your clients would talk to and or that are on the back end of these services that you're selling actually getting done. So that way they know who they're dealing with, who might be touching their account, and it helps build confidence. So let's talk about the strategy deck, tying all this stuff together, and how we're going to present it here on the next step. Let's move on. So this is probably one of my favorite steps. It's game day. I was a college athlete, very competitive person, love watching sports, love competing. It's why I'm an entrepreneur. But it's go time. It's go time, baby. It's the proposal and strategy deck step to this whole thing. So I typically, as I mentioned before, like to do this in a 30 to 45 minute meeting over Zoom or in person if they're locally. I'll go through the entire strategy deck that we put together over the last couple of days. I'll answer, obviously, questions that they have about the strategy deck. I'm always asking some of the same things. Does this make sense? Do you have any other clarification? I'll also have a series of questions that I'm asking them based on how they're interacting with the strategy deck, how they're taking it and receiving it, things like that. I'll ask some additional questions of just things that I have seen over time that will help kind of close the sale at the end. And then I tie it all together by presenting the packages and the pricing. So again, that good, better, and best option. At that point, obviously I'm going in to close the sale. And so I close the sale, and then I love to schedule the onboarding call as the sale is getting closed. Yes, Adam, we would love to move forward with you. We want to go with package number 3. What are the next steps? Great. We're going to schedule onboarding. We typically want to do this on a 30 to 45 minute Zoom call. What does your availability look like on X, Y, and Z day? Now, of course, not every proposal and strategy call leads to a sale. So if they say no, or I'm not ready, or anything other than let's move forward, you have to make sure you schedule a next follow-up. That might be the next day, that might be the next week or the next month, or that might be months from now. But you want to make sure that you put something on the calendar with them. Send them a calendar invite. We are going to sync back up, even if it's 6 months from now. And then you're putting those notes in the CRM so you don't forget either. So this is the fun part. This is where all of the magic comes to fruition and you're either closing the sale or setting that next step. I may have actually jumped the gun there and said that my favorite part of this whole process was presenting the strategy deck and proposal. And it's one of my favorite steps, but also getting paid is even better. So as we send that follow-up email, once somebody is closed and somebody said, hey, let's move forward, I will send a follow-up email through Go High Level with the invoice and proposal, as well as an onboarding brief, which is just a series of questions that we'll go over. A lot of the stuff I'll already be able to fill out based on our previous conversations, but I like to ask a couple other things as well once they become a client. And then also, hey, we're going to need X, Y, and Z access stuff, website, Google Analytics, Google Business Profile, Search Console, whatever it might be. We use GHL to create both the invoice and the proposal, and then we use Stripe for invoicing, which all connects into GHL, so it makes it super simple and easy. This is super important because it's something that honestly for the first year, I just said, hey, I'm going to trust these business owners. I'm going to go by fly by the seat of my pants. I didn't have people sign contracts, even if it was month to month. Always have them sign a contract and collect payment, ideally before the onboarding call. So in that way, you're literally just getting things ready to go and pushing forward. So before we finish everything up and kind of tie it all together on every step of this sales systems process, let's discuss the onboarding call specifically, because the sale isn't closed until you have that onboarding call. And that onboarding call is so key to setting the right expectations or resetting them and kicking off this relationship. So that way it's a very long and fruitful relationship on both ends. This is the last step before things really get serious and start to take off, right? So this is a time for your clients. They're likely super, super excited. They also may not tell you this, but they're probably very anxious. Even though you're going to do incredible work, they've probably worked with people that they've been screwed over by, not gotten results, and just felt like they've been in the dark on this stuff. So this is your opportunity to reset the stage, reset expectations, and to have them leaving this onboarding call extremely confident that they made the right choice. And so this is a 30 to 45 minute phone call or Zoom call, depending upon the services and packages that you sold previously. We're confirming that access have been granted to all the things that we need. A lot of times it's not always done prior to this call, so you're doing that. Of course, you need to make sure that the invoice has been paid and contract signed. You're going to go through the entire onboarding brief of all the different questions you need answers to that you sent over in that previous email. Again, ideally they have this filled out, but we're business owners. We know business owners. Very rarely is it filled out and done correctly to completion. So we're kind of going back through that. After that, we're scheduling a kickoff call to say, hey, we got all the access stuff we need. We're starting to set up all of the different things we're doing, the ad accounts, the landing pages, the reputation management, what have you, inside of GHL and any other platforms that we're using. So that way you can get another quick win. Hey, I'm getting everything. We have this onboarding call, but let's schedule another call. So then that way we can make sure that we kick this off and start it, right? Which is the last step, getting started, getting results, and taking action. This entire sales system, A to Z, is exactly what you need to start implementing in order to get more clients and set the expectations for the future relationship that you are going to have with them.
There you have it. We just went over my entire sales system, the exact same sales system I've used over the last 6 years to sell millions and millions of dollars of digital marketing services. Now, if you want a copy of today's presentation, head over to buildauthority.co/sales system. And don't forget to check out our free and extended 30-day trial of GHL with tons of builders of authority and personal branding bonuses. You'll find a link to that in the description of this video. Now you know what to do. It's time to go make money.